Middle of the Pack podcast.
Why I'm playing this kind of game, and who the hell I'm thinking that I want to run marathon. And when I was thinking how I decide this, I was so many questions. I never cry. I was crying this morning. Why I put this thing for myself? Why I say I'm going to run marathon? What is wrong with me?
And that is a TikTok clip that I saw there recently. I thought it was a good introduction to this week's show, which is all about the Dublin Marathon, the day itself. And what a day it was. I'm still absolutely buzzing, just still buzzing from what was a great day. I'm just going to start tonight's show with me walking towards the start line at the Dublin City Marathon. Walking down towards the backdrop, lots of people. Just looking at some of the elites warming up. They look like they're jogging, but if I had to run next to them, we would definitely be sprinting. Ooh, nerves are kicking in. Touch base later. And the nerves definitely were kicking in, but it was a great day, a fabulous day to run around Dublin. Weather was terrible, but what we're going to do on this week's show is just have clips from people that I know or people that I met or people that just wanted to give a summary of their Dublin City Marathon experience. So we'll kick off this week's show with Una and let her introduce herself and tell you about what Dublin was for her.
Hi, Padraig. Una Duffy here from Monaghan Dash Cork. I just want to say congrats to you on your PB Marathon. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. What I can say about the Dublin Marathon yesterday is that it is certainly a day I won't forget. And I mean, life is all about creating memories, and yesterday was definitely all about that. I did the Dublin Marathon last year, but this year it felt like a million times better for some reason. I wasn't part of a club last year, and this year I was part of Watergrass Hill. So I had the singlet on. So it was so nice because there was people from the club who were coming up, tapping me on the shoulder, go Watergrass Hill, go Watergrass Hill. So that was so nice and motivating. And even other clubs from around Cork, I have to say, were so nice to come up. There was a couple of girls from St. Finbarr's and another girl from Cove and a few other from Eagle who were just like, go on the hill, go on the hill. So that was so nice, I have to say, and so motivating. And you need that whenever you're like trying to get over a marathon line. And it was so nice. Even there was lovely people in the crowd as well. Like there was a couple of people that I knew were shouting my name. So everything was just so uplifting, and you really need that. And it really helped me hugely, I have to say. If there's one thing I know is that mindset, it really is everything going into it, into a marathon. I think knowing that your training is done, you're halfway there, and the rest is mental, I think anyway. But if I had to summarise everything now, I'm just very grateful to have been able to do the marathon in Dublin this year. And it was great to have the guidance and support of Kieran, our coach. Everyone knows it's so freaking hard to train for a marathon. Like, it really takes over your bloody life. Like, it's tough going, especially when you work full time, you've got kids and life is just busy. But I know that having the right people around you is everything. And that meant everything to me. And I'm just forever grateful. Hope you had a good day. Bye.
Hi there, I am Antonio. I'm from Naples in Italy, and I just completed the Dublin Marathon, and I'm very happy with it.
Yay.
He's happy with it.
Well, that's it. I finished the marathon. Oof. I think I did 4 hours, 1 minute, which is a PB. My hamstrings just seized up at 22 miles, but just kept going. My coach said to run through the pain, so I did that. And yeah, it was brilliant. I'm still delighted. I think I did a PB by about 9 minutes, so I'm delighted with that. Just queuing for medals now. And well done to everyone else that finished the marathon. Hopefully I'll get a few chats with a few people. But yeah, it's a brilliant feeling. Finishing is fantastic. So thanks to Una, Antonio, and myself. I thought you might have sensed the excitement in my voice there at the finish line. I was pretty tired, but I was really emotional and buzzing. And yeah, it was such a great feeling. Next up, and we'll let the people introduce themselves, but next up is Cliona. All these people might be future guests. We might hear more from them, but let Cliona introduce herself.
Hey, Porrick, it's Cliona from Broward County, Galway. Just coming back with my recap of the marathon. My God, it was my first time, and everybody says it's an incredible event, and it really is. I've never, ever seen support for so long across so many miles at any event. It was unbelievable. So that was just incredible. And how people are there for hours on end, screaming and roaring. There was one point where you go under a flyover coming up into just before Inchicore, I think. And there was 5 people under the bridge and they had a stereo and it sounded like there was a full on rave going on inside there. It was unbelievable. So that was incredible. Loads of water. I had no issues with any of that kind of stuff. It is carnage with all the cups on the ground though, so you definitely do have to mind yourself on that. It was insane. The finish, people screaming and roaring, and it's so funny with your name on your name on your number. Sometimes people are calling your name and you don't know who they are, and that's kind of nice too. So, yeah, amazing. Lows, definitely trying to get dressed, frozen on the side of the road with numb fingers, trying to pull a sports bra off. For all the women out there, you know what I'm talking about. You can't get your fingers underneath it to pull it off, and at the same time, you're trying to hold on to your jacket so that parts of you aren't flying all sides. So that was definitely a challenge, but you can't walk around with a wet sports bra on because you'll pay for it later on. So that was definitely one of the lows, but I managed it. There were 2 girls in stitches at me though, 2 supporters on the other side of the barriers who gave me a little bit of space, a bit of breathing room. So that was awesome. And I'm still praying that the building that I faced as I was doing the changing, I'm still hoping that was as empty as it looked. Other than that, amazing, incredible. And I just have to say massive thanks to Kieran and Cranky Coach because he was bang on with what he said I'd run it at. I was hoping for 320, came in at 3:18:36. So I am so grateful and so thankful. Loving the podcast. Keep up the good work, Porrick. Well done you on yours. Slán.
Thank you, Cleona. It's great to have. I'm very grateful that people took the time out to send these messages, record these messages. But next up is Dave, and you remember Dave from episode 11, where he was going for a 2:49 marathon. I did ask for a 2 or 3 minute summary of the day, and Dave sent me a 20-minute summary, which could have been an episode in itself. So we did manage to edit it down. I think it's brilliant what he has said and what he talked about. I've concentrated more on his race, but I do hope you enjoy Dave's longer than everybody else section, but maybe that's just the way Dave is. So here we go.
On episode 11, I did tell you to always go to the bathroom beforehand. So I went in the queue to go to the bathroom, and it was manic. Oh my God, I'd say there was 20 or 30 people ahead of me, and it was like at this stage now it was probably 8:10. So the race was at 8:45. Like, but I have to go to the loo. Like, you know, I can't run around to put this in me. So I just stayed there. I goes, look, if I have to go in the next wave, I'll just run my race on my own. I can't run around. So I literally got into the bathroom at 8:41 and the gun time was 8:45. So got in, out as fast as I could, got down, and not a really good position. I wanted to be further up to the front. But look, I couldn't do it. I had to navigate through about thousands and thousands of people. And so got there, the race went off, and first mile was manic. I mean, it was probably my own fault but I was actually like ahead of 3-hour balloons. So 3-hour balloons are going to be running 6:48s. I mean, no, like for the first mile, there was people running 8-minute miles, 8.5-minute miles. So it was like a war zone in there, a battle zone, just trying to weave in and weave out. So that wasn't great. Kind of settled down for mile 2. We got it back to 6:25, which was the target pace. Me and Alfie, and we had Aaron, and we had Paul from Eagle as well. And then 2.5 miles in, my buddy Alfie, there was a guy, I could see it all unfold in front of me. The guy, like, you don't need water 2.5 miles into a marathon. But this guy, there was like a 24-pack of water, and it was kind of like half opened. So he grabbed the corner and grabbed one bottle, but in turn, the other 23 bottles of the case just started rolling off the table, and then from the table onto the ground. And my running buddy Alfie, he couldn't get out of it. Like, you know, he just literally, it's like something out of a cartoon sketch. The bottle came under his foot. He went up in the air, rolled his ankle, bang, Alfie, gone. Good luck. So I was going mad because me and Alfie had planned to run this now for the last 4 or 5 weeks. We were doing, the plan was to run every 5K in 20 minutes. And Alfie was really good at pacing, so I needed him. Like, and no, Alfie was gone. So I actually went up. I was going to give him a dig in the back, like, because what I did was disgraceful. But there was a guy, Aaron from Mallow. He kind of calmed me down and got me relaxed because I was livid. Like, Alfie was gone. Like, anyway, got relaxed. Got into the Phoenix Park for 3 mile for bang on 5K. When you go in the gate at the Phoenix Park, it's bang on. You see the 5K marker. So we were 20:35, I think, or was it a bit more? I'm not sure. Anyway, got into the nice rhythm, ran around the Phoenix Park nice and steady because at that stage I knew that we were running into a westerly wind. So he's saying you're gonna even you should be running slow anyway for the first couple of miles of a marathon. But if you're running into a wind and you know you're gonna get it back at the back end of it, then you have to just like suck up, take up your medicine, and just go. So I think I did the second 5K. So from 6 miles, or sorry, 6K to 10K, I think I was bang on the 6:25 pace. But then when you come out of the park, then you got those 3 fast miles, and I really attacked those fast miles. So going over halfway, I saw the clock, and I was so. You actually titled my episode on your podcast for Dave Buckley chasing 2:49. So basically, I came out, or sorry, I got to halfway at, right, let's do the maths here now. Basically, I was bang on halfway for 2:49, 2 seconds under. So I got to like 18, 19, and then I got to like 21 miles, and I don't like, and it was like about a K before the Heartbreak Hill. And I think there's actually a bit of a pull going up Middletown that way before you even get to Heartbreak Hill. And I got the old twitch in the hamstring, and I was like, oh no, shoot, it's going to happen again, isn't it? So I took the pace down a bit, and I got up Heartbreak Hill, and I was actually grand. I was grand. And I came down back over the hill onto the main road. I don't know what that's called, the North Circular Road, is it? And it really started pinging again. So I tried to take the pace off again, went up over the flyover, back down the other side of the flyover, and it was really, really getting bad at this stage. It felt like I was like even like run limping and such. I don't know, that's how you can describe it. And I just managed it, and I literally got to, I'd say, about 38.7K, 38.8K. I could see the 40K marker, and bang, gone, went. I was like, oh no. So I had to stop. I stopped. I wasn't on my back like I was last year, or when I was in Cork, I wasn't that severe. I just stepped off the side of the road, and I just did the old football stretch there where you bend over and bring your toes up to your chin and touch it. I tried to get going a couple of times, but it flared up, and but after about, I'd say maybe 60 or 90 seconds, I was able to get back in. So I said, don't run, just jog. So I jogged for about 10 strides, and I got back into, walked. I walked for about 10 strides, and then I got back into a bit of a jog, and I was grand again. So I passed the RDS up the road, and like I was there, geez, I'm going by there. But like in my head, so I had to stop again at 800 meters. I went again, I could see the sign, the purple sign, 800 meters to go. I was like, oh no, what's going on? And you see all the people, and they were there stopping this thing. They're saying, why are you stopping now for? You're only like 800 meters away. And they don't know the pain you're going through. So I got going again anyway. But in my head, I didn't know how long I stopped for. I hadn't got the actual official, as in the main time on my watch. I would just had lap time on my watch. So I didn't know what the accumulative time was. So I was thinking, like, with the stops and the stretching, I think I was there. Look, you're on for 2:53. Look, it's not going to be 2:49, but it's 2:53. It's a 4-minute PB. My PB was last year up in Dublin, even though I had a nightmare in Dublin last year. I actually PB'd up in Dublin last year. So that was 2:57. So I was in my head, I was like, look, you're going to run 2:53, happy days. And I ran the last kilometre with a big smile on my face, even though it didn't go to plan. And then I got around the corner, literally like 50 or 70 meters to go, and I could see the clock, and I could see 2:50. And I was there, what? No way, how is this possible? So anyway, I got under at 21:05, I think, but because I started later, like it took me 20-25 seconds to get to where my chip time would go off. I actually ran 2:50:48. That was my official time. So I missed the 2:49 by 49 seconds. But you know what? I don't care. I don't care. I'm absolutely buzzing. I'm delighted. It's like it's a 7-minute PB. I know if my legs, like, because there was a guy actually who was behind me, and he ended up finishing ahead of me because his legs didn't pack up, and he ran 2:48, 40 something, and I was ahead of him. So I was on for a 2:48 low. I'm not going to fall out over 40 odd seconds. Had a great time, but Dublin is unbelievable. I mean, the bell cows there, whatever they're called, the cow whistles, whatever, cow bells at every corner, the support, the DJs, the bands. It's just unbelievable. Like, I mean, it's just an unbelievable marathon.
And for those of you that do park runs on a regular occurrence, you might recognise that cheer from Graham, and thanks for his input. He was too shy to talk, but I hopefully will get him on as a guest in future podcasts as well. Next up, we have a spectators report of the marathon.
Hi, Padraig. Aideen here. Well done on your fantastic Dublin City Marathon 2 days ago. I said I'd send you a quick note to say, from a spectator's perspective of the Dublin City Marathon 2025. It was my first time going up to Dublin to watch my husband Garud run. And the first thing that struck me before anything happened was the sheer size of the event. I'd been to the Cork Marathon so many times, but this was another level. I thought it was fantastically organised and absolutely enormous. I still blown away. I saw pictures of the bag drop and the bags, the volume of, oh my God, it was unreal. So that was the first thing that struck me as a spectator, first time spectator there. Then the other thing was I went a mile out to see the first wave go through with a couple of people from Tokery that I'm friendly with. And it was just phenomenal, mind-blowing to see them all flying by. So much so that when they flew by, you could feel a gust of air coming at us. And it was nearly like visual overload. We couldn't see people. They were all running by so fast, trying to see in our heads who we were trying to pick out, that we'd catch them quick enough. I couldn't even take pictures, Padraig. It was so hectic, that first wave coming through at mile 1. They were all flying through sub 6-minute miles. So I missed a load of people I thought I might see, but that's how that goes, I suppose. Then myself and the 2 girls from Toker went over to Dolphin's Barn at the advice of Graham, because that's at the halfway mat and it's the shortest point to walk in the marathon to get across. So we went over there and we were in time to see the leaders come through. And again, it was just the speed of them all coming through. Then the other thing that really struck me was when the pacers came through. The clump of people that were with the pacers was phenomenal. There was men dribbling through and women, and then suddenly there'd be 100 people plus following the pacers, which I suppose I never thought about until I physically saw it. But what was phenomenal standing at that halfway point was picking out people you knew, be it club teammates, like our Eagle teammates, or just seeing people I knew from, Toker, Carrigaline, the bars. It was wonderful. It was absolutely fantastic. That was wonderful. And then I myself had to fly back to get to the finish line to see my husband Garud finish, and he's quite speedy. So my panic as I was running across town in a city I don't know that well was that I'd miss him. And after all the months of him training, surely his wife couldn't miss him finishing. But glad to say I saw him finishing. He didn't see me despite my shouting at him, and he ran a fantastic time. And so I'm very, very proud for him. I know what a massive body of work he put in, and I have massive respect for anybody who runs a marathon, and I have another level of respect for anybody who runs marathons and does massive blocks of training, who have children, full-time jobs and other commitments. It's a whole new level of Sudoku at a family level as well. So my final note would be well done to everyone who did it. Everyone is so inspiring. Everybody did a massive block of training, and I'm delighted to have witnessed so many people achieving that as well. So well done to everyone who ran it, and here's to next year.
Fergal from Fermanagh. For me, Dublin Marathon 2025, it delivered in terms of atmosphere and achievement. It was very surreal at times, and it felt like it was over in the blink of an eye. That's very hard to believe, I know, but it's hard to believe after training for 4 long, hard months that it was all over. Thankfully, I managed a 15-minute PB, finishing in 3:14:55, just inside my target time of sub 3:15. So it was a job well done for me, and a big sprint finish at the end. Though watching back in the video, I'm not actually going that fast, but it felt like it was. I can't really remember that much about the race, to be honest. I know there was massive support all along the route, which definitely helped drive you on. But there was no 3:15 pacer, so I had to manage the pace myself and found it very intense maintaining it and trying to focus on controlling the urge to push on too early. So it was push, pull, push, pull. There was a few moments I felt like crying as an epic anthem from one of the DJs would trigger an emotion inside yourself and sort of highlighted the massive life experience that you're actually living in that moment. And then I sort of had to catch myself on and realise I had another 30 plus minutes of running to do before I could actually relax and enjoy myself. So there was plenty of time that happened, and it's mental that I even done it. I've completed Dublin Marathon. That's my first Dublin Marathon, and even sweeter that I achieved the goal time that I wanted. Now I just have to come to terms with the loss of a 4-month love affair with Dublin Marathon and find another target to aim at and fall in love with the process. So all in all, a great day out. Hey, unbelievable. Just Well done, everybody involved. It's fantastic. And on to the next. Let's go.
Hi, Padraig. Well, firstly, well done on your achievement on Sunday, PB, and that's brilliant for you. Well done. I had a lovely weekend. I had a weekend with family in Dublin. Lots of support and support from club mates and the running community in general. I did read before that they say if you ever want to see the best of humanity and kindness, take part in a marathon. And that's exactly what Dublin was about on Sunday. It was lovely to see some runners I knew in the Phoenix Park. So I just took my time as expected, and the support out there was immense. So I got in, I was well over 7 hours. I was actually 7:40, but I did get in. It was lovely to see Camilla from Parkrun when I was 3 miles away from the finish. And then our great friend and club mate Graham came out on his bike at 2 miles, and his usual way hey hey got me through. And fabulous lady Agnes came with me for the last, we'll say, mile and a half, a volunteer for the marathon. Some lovely, lovely people along the way, lovely runners from Dublin running clubs coming along beside me, and I was seeing other runners walking against me with their medals, and that guy running beside me, I think he was the Nor Harriers. He did say, look, you see that medal, you're going to get the exact same medal as that. I did think if I was in Tokyo or Berlin or any of those, I would have been pulled off the course. But it was lovely to finish. It was lovely to get my medal. And I'm very proud of myself, and I think we should all be proud of ourselves. And one thing I did ask Graham when I met him at 2 miles on his bike was everyone okay in our crew? And he said, yeah, everybody's good. So that made me happy. There were some fabulous results, including yourself, Padraig, and fabulous results from our club, Eagle AC. So huge congrats, and lots achieved what they were looking for. And Aidan Coleman, our club mate, was out with her sign for her husband Garrod, and he reached his goal, which was fantastic. So I think everybody should be so proud of themselves. I know some girls and guys who finished after me, and I've been in touch with them, and I've told them to be so proud of themselves. Big shout out to Betty O'Riordan as well, who did fantastic. Her first time doing Dublin. She's our Eagle AC club mate. So a great weekend overall. And my medal is out since yesterday. Didn't get over for the post-race celebrations because I was tucked up safely with my family and getting some home comforts with them. But hoping to see most of you at Parkrun, most of the crew on Saturday. And yeah, the medal is on tour. So anybody who doesn't like the medal on tour, keep away from me. But the medal is officially on tour.
And I think you're so right. Bring the medal on tour and keep it going. Anyone who completes a marathon deserves to show off their medal. And well done there to Sinead Power. And before that, we had Fergal Murphy, previous guests, and then Aidan Coleman giving us a spectator's view. So yeah, onwards and upwards. We've got more people to listen to, and I think it's brilliant that all these people have completed Dublin and are just waxing lyrical about the whole occasion.
Hello, it's Angeline from County Down. So Dublin Marathon for me was everything and more than what people had described. People said that Dublin was full of support, great atmosphere along the route, and an epic finish. And I have to say, it definitely delivered. Now, it wasn't the best of days in respect to the weather. So it was great to see that the supporters still come out in their droves to support the runners. I'm delighted that my parents came along and looked after my 3 kids while we took a jaunt round the marathon. I spotted them at the finish line and it was very emotional. You still get a wee bit worked up when you think about it. But for me, Dublin was a real goal because it was my 10th marathon. I also turned 40 this month. So I wanted to prove to myself that I could indeed get under a sub-4 marathon. I have been trying for a while to smash that target, and in some respects I had lost a bit of faith in the fact that I thought it's just not for me. Maybe how could you ever run a marathon in sub-4? You start talking yourself down. But with a good group of people around me, Padraig included in the podcast as well, sort of whipped me and shaped to say, listen, you can do this and you've got it. So it is really important who you surround yourself by. The start line at Dublin Marathon was busy. It was cold, it was chilly. I was actually looking out for Padraig and his wife Yvonne, but I couldn't find them, and I didn't see them along the route either. I don't know whether I sneaked up to the front of the wave and then just ran. The plan was to run with the pacer, the 4-hour pacer. I got slightly ahead of them, and a big win for me this marathon was I realised that if you hit the side button on your Garmin, on your watch, that it'll tell you your lap time in real time. So I kept a close eye and tried to ensure that I stayed sort of below 9-minute miles. A couple of gems from different people, like really dig in deep, mile 18 to 22, stay consistent, stay steady, really focus. I just kept saying to myself, run with purpose, run with purpose. I think sometimes I lose a bit of concentration and then I'm dragging the heels at some points. But I stayed consistent, I stayed focused and maintained a really good steady pace throughout the marathon. At some points, I did think I may have hit the wall at mile 24. I thought, oh my goodness, my head's a bit light. But I think it was actually just the sheer amount of gels that I had. Now, I did train with gels, but I think it was just because you had them extra couple of ones at the end of the race that you were just full of caffeine and carbohydrates. But I fueled well and I finished strong. I finished with a 3:53, which I am over the moon about and not going to hide behind that finish line. I'm really, really proud of myself. We put in a serious amount of work over the last 4 months since Cork, supported by the cranky coach, keeping us consistent and keeping us honest as well. Big takeaway for me was the sessions. I have never really focused on sessions in previous training blocks, and this really helped me not only get faster but have that confidence to run faster. So thank you very much, Dublin. Thank you very much to all the supporters, the volunteers, just the people that made it such a special day. Too soon to say if I'll be back, but I'm going to just glory in the fact that I'm a now sub-4 marathon runner. I smashed my target and I am proud. Going to enjoy this week. Going to take the rest and sure we'll get a new target in maybe in a couple of weeks.
Hi Padraig, Vicky Donnelly here from Eagle Athletic Club. I'm just about coming around after what was an incredible weekend in Dublin. It was my second ever marathon, my first being Cork in June of this year. And it kind of kills me to say it as a Corkonian, but Dublin blew me away. I just found the whole experience overwhelming in a really good way, but just from the amount of participants, the number of supporters out on a cold, wet morning, the organisation, the volunteers, it was an emotional experience and something I suppose I just hadn't expected how big it would really be. And just the kindness people were showing, the words of encouragement, the noise, the jellies, the plates of oranges, the gels, people were just so good from start to finish. There was no lonely patch in the whole course. And yeah, got my PB of 3 hours 15, which was brilliant for me and I was chuffed with after 3:23 in Cork. So yeah, I just thought it was an amazing event. I would definitely be back if I can get a place next year. And yeah, just an overall really, really positive experience. I know there was a few people that were, maybe giving out a little bit about bag drops and about bib collections and all of that. But yeah, look, I've nothing major to compare it with, but we all got there. Yes, there might have been a bit of patience required at times, but overall, I think an amazing job from everybody involved in organising it. And yeah, just such lovely community spirit amongst the runners as well. Before I started running, I would have thought that running was a really self-centered kind of sport, I suppose, having come from a team sport background. But it's the absolute opposite. Runners out in the course just giving their support, helping each other. And yeah, I don't know, I just thought the whole thing was absolutely amazing. And I'm looking forward to the next one already. A little bit broken today, but I'm sure I'll get over it. A little bit of rest and recovery now. Good food, good sleep, and yeah, get back on track and see what race I'm going to book next.
Thanks to Angeline, Vicky there for the final contributions. Vicky covered everything that I wanted to talk about at the very end of the show. I wanted to talk about the volunteers, the crowd support, and everything that made Dublin Marathon really special. So thank you to everyone that popped on with a voice note for this week's show. It's much appreciated, and it's always very appreciated the amount of feedback and support that I'm getting from all you guys out there. So please keep on listening, keep on supporting, and more importantly, keep on running. But I do hope you've enjoyed this week's show, and keep on tuning in. We will next week be looking at an episode from the recovery room, which is much needed at the moment for me. But for this week, and as always, thanks for listening, and see you all next week.